Opinions and stories around the game we love, told by your favorite storytellers. Stay up to date with all things cricket. Subscribe to Cricbuzz's YouTube channel and press that bell icon now.
Let's look at some of the things India did in this series. And the first thing I'd like to ask you about is, okay, there's 3 or 4 people I want to ask you about, but Ravindra Jadeja. I mean, I think if Jadeja just sat in his house in Jamnagar at the moment and said, let me move Mars a little this way and Venus a little that way, he could.
Yeah, that's a lovely way to put it. I think it is true at this point of time. I heard his interview and very interesting. He said his mindset and his outlook has changed. And that's what elite level sport is, Harsha. I'm sure you know that in any field, the higher you progress, I think a lot of battles is not against an opponent, but within yourself and what's played between the years. And at this point of time, he is handling those battles really, really well. We got to remember that he's coming back from an injury, hadn't played cricket up till the white ball format for some time, but comes in and plays like he's been playing the sport for the last 5-8 years, every day of his life. I mean, he's been through a pretty major one, because you got to understand why I say injury is very interesting, because up till then you've never heard of Jadeja having an injury. It could be the odd niggle or two, but an injury not being picked because of an injury has never happened. But to come and after that, obviously not only express himself but take his game to a different level. I mean, as we said, we can keep speaking as much as we want, but I don't think we can wax eloquent enough of Ravindra Jadeja. I think he's at that form of his life where he walks the walk and talks the talk, and I'm enjoying watching him perform. Not only he's always known to be a great fielder and an outstanding competitor, but his batting and bowling seems to have just in many ways taken off to another level. But I also want to wait and see. He has a lot of battles. I don't want to in many ways hype too much of it, because sometimes opponents need to push you, and in many ways challenges need to be had for you to cross the barrier. He looks like the guy who's ready up for a challenge, because when he went to England he did well, in Australia he's done well. So Sri Lanka isn't the battle for him, for us to say he's at the peak of his powers. I would just say it's
I mean, his batting average post 2018 is now in the mid 40s. So he's scored a few runs overseas as well. So all the signs are there. And if you look at his numbers across eras as all-rounders, at the moment, they're looking very, very good indeed. So you just hope that he can only keep going upwards. But you're right, he's batting like a batsman. And sometimes when you're down at 8 or whatever, when you're traveling abroad, your fast bowlers are not contributing with the bat. You can almost sometimes think, okay, I've only got these many balls. Let me make the most of it. Here in India, as he said yesterday, he has Rishabh Pant on one side, Ravichandran Ashwin on the other side. So he's got batting to play alongside. So I think that would have helped him too.